Well, hello there. It's been a while since I've touched Trainz, but yeah, we're back in Century Mini. We are currently looking at the wonderful little town of Siebenhagen, and I have a big decision to make. And the decision is whether I should continue building the railway, the U-Bahn more specifically, out of Niederburg, or if I should work on the northern section, the Baltics, for Germany. Because I have no idea. So let's take a look at the U-Bahn. So the thing to do here is essentially just continue out this way into the rural countryside and just, build a line through here somehow, somewhere. Right? Relatively nice and simple. For the Baltics, there's pretty much all of this. Let's take a little look at that, because Brand has done a little bit of work here, namely the track layout and network, right? So we've got some stuff prepared, essentially. There's a connection to the Netherlands, there's a connection to Denmark, and there's a connection to the rest of northern Germany. So we've got something here. I guess his preparation for a little station, a little stop in here. That makes sense. As we then enter Gutshaven. The other line we have running along as well. A station there and a station here. Alright, alright. Fairly interesting. So it's gonna be fun working on. And then, yeah, this will have to be decided on when we get to the wonderful idea of having Poland northern coast as well, which is still something we are planning. But yeah, fairly simple, I guess. I could do some work out of here, starting here, I guess. So let's get to it. First thing I'm gonna do is replace this with this. That should be good, yeah. Let's get the textures matched. Ah, nice. So I guess let's build a little bit of it. I don't really have a concrete plan for this area, but I have been thinking and talking with Brand to, to like what should this area look like? What would be optimal? And we do have a style in mind. We just need to actually manage to build it within that style. So that's gonna be a lot of fun trying to do. I'm also gonna need to ask Hans for more names for these new locations. There we go. It's better. Fix up the rotation of the textures. Okay. That's done. Nice. So here, I would like to have a crossing. I need a continuous line. There we go. Oh, that's a small one. There we go. And then we'll run directly to the station as well. And right in front of it. Like that. So I don't want this to be any kind of like big town. Not at all. I just want this to be like a bigger village. If anything, you know. For this, I have an idea. I just need to make it work. It's a ridiculous idea. Especially because trains can't exactly do roundabouts good. Right? So trying to construct a relatively small footprint roundabout is a challenge that I want to see if I can somehow do it. Problem obviously is when it comes to traffic. It's gonna be unpause it just to see what the game does, because I have no idea how the traffic behaves through there right now. But I think they're just gonna end up looping themselves, which is not good. But it's also annoying to try and make roundabouts do anything else. Hello, and hello, Swiss guy. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Right, so they go that way. That's so problem number one that needs to be solved is the AI directionality here. You still do that, okay. Trying to do a roundabout is always a annoyance in this game. I don't exactly feel like spending a lot of time on traffic again. Instead, I will try to make it as some kind of an intersection. Yeah, something like that. This can technically make it work, yeah. Yeah, okay, that's gonna be good enough. Don't mind the traffic jam. I'm thinking, where do I want... Okay, now obviously I know where I want the city to start, which is here, roughly. Thing is, the road layout is gonna be slightly problematic, I guess. So I have no idea what I want it to look like, but I'll figure it out eventually. Just like everything. Let's do some more focus on the fields and stuff. Let's get the scenery up to the city, basically. Not to mention that the scenery here in northern Germany is gonna be very different from the rest. As we want to try and get the try to introduce the real, you know, fuck, how do I fucking say this? Replicate the real terrain of this area. Jesus, I hate English. Because there is quite a unique terrain here in northern Germany that you wouldn't really find anywhere else in Germany. So it kind of just has to be rather on the unique side, and that's gonna be quite an interesting thing to build. Especially as I will need to stick this for quite a lot of time. Huh? Need to make sure that its height is fixed. Seems to be alright. Go to align this. Now, before I build much further with this, I'm gonna have to do the catenary. Do we have a tensioner here already or not? No, we don't. Okay. That's gonna be fucked, to say the least. So I need an end, but I don't want this. I need this. There we go. Obviously, I need to measure out the distances. Okay. Good. So this is where the new wire is going to begin. This is where the old wire is gonna end. Just like that. That's a 50 IO. I want a 40. There we go. Now I need to hold the wire. Goes up there. And that one ends. There we go, just like that. Except what? What? Okay. Must have been some kind of broken spline then, because that was weird. Okay. Right, so where did this start? It has to start here. And go onto this one. That. But I would like this other spline instead. This other type. There we go. And that starts there. Good. Now I need 40 UO. And now I need an OO. Uh-oh. Just like that. Now is the catenary change over here done? Nice and easy. Right, it's windmills, I suppose. I mean, yeah, obviously windmills, but also the general terrain and the way it's done in here is completely gonna be different. Mainly because it's mostly just like flat land, but you know, flat land doesn't really work well in the game, so I'll have to introduce some very mild hills here and there. And, you know, at least some kind of terrain variation. Since I cannot exactly do hills anymore to make it more fitting, I'm gonna have to get a different kind of idea. And the different kind of idea is mostly based on what generally happens with the terrain next to tracks and roads in this part of Germany. Which, the more you look at it, the more annoying it's going to become. Because generally the tracks and roads here, they seem to be on their own little embankment, but that embankment is like flush with the terrain around it. It's just that on both sides of the tracks, it is lined with ditches for drainage, I suppose, or something. Right? And so I want to do something like that here. Oh, this is gonna be I. Oh, it's gonna be I. Oh, I. O. But this one needs to be the big O because there's a new wire gonna start here. So yoink U and just select the O type. There we go. That's a big pylon. Okay. Two O's all on here. And it's 50 meters apart. fuck is wrong with this splines? There we go. I haven't played the game for a little bit. Completely lost my touch and reality with this. Forgot how it operates. Well, not like completely forgot. It's just, yeah. I think it's been like 2 weeks or something that I haven't touched Trainz. Something along those lines, I'm not sure. I place these down even though I know it's not gonna last. It's gonna be cable laid, pretty much. It's gonna be slightly annoying or interesting, because halfway through the station the catenary has to change to the Danish one. Yeah, there's gonna be catenary change in the middle of the station here. And yeah, the way it's gonna be done here is pretty much the same way it's done in real life, except the fact that, you know, we're also mixing in a different station with this one as well. So we kind of had to fictionalize it again. But basically, there's gonna be German voltage on all of this that you're seeing here right now. And then here it's gonna be split. These two tracks are gonna continue with German voltage. And on out this way, there's gonna be German voltage. This here is gonna be the Danish voltage. I come in through here, and it's gonna be split down in the middle of the platform, and then in the middle of the freight yards, right? We could probably synchronize it a bit better to make it 50-50. Well, not 50-50, but like here. So you get less Danish on this side of the freight yard, but it's not that big of an issue, really. So yeah, you get the idea. So half of the station is gonna have to be 25 kV, and that will go up to Denmark. And the remainder is gonna be 15 kV and some diesel lines that's for the rest of Germany. And that makes it rather interesting to work with. Also, because I don't remember the name of the Danish catenary assets, so I'll have to find those again. But it's gonna be a lot of fun building this. Okay, I am in the correct layer. Let's continue. That's straightened. Yes, okay. Some fast junctions as well to allow for higher speed track changes. Because there's gonna be some slower services, there's gonna be some faster services as well. So make it more fun. But yeah, this entire part is going to be single tracked as well, as you may have noticed. Which will be quite an interesting aspect of this, because now across Central Europe Mini there's gonna be quite a few single track electrified main lines, right? Because this is obviously the first one, a main line that's gonna be single track and electrified, and then there's gonna be another one that's being built between Poland and Slovakia. So that's gonna be interesting to say the least. And Czechia will get a single track dead end branch line electrified as well. Make it more fun and interesting. Can I delete this? Yes, I can. Okay. Let's get the wires. How long is this? 70 meters, so it's gonna be like, that's roughly 35, okay. So in the middle, let's place a pylon. There's gonna be an eye for this side. Let's get rid of that. American earlier, yes, okay. Let's just take this, go to this side. Stay on that side. There we go. Now I need to do one here. I think with the yard is that there's gonna be a cable gantry eventually. Despite the fact that I've placed down these pylons here. But I think from this point on it's gonna be cabled. Yeah, from somewhere around here, I think. Though I could make this just an overhang gantry as well, that could work. And then the rest is gonna be cable, I think. Yeah, okay, I see. That might work better. Where's the wire? There's the wire. Oh, wrong one. This one. Though, no, that's gonna line up. So that needs to be a different one then. So this one will actually have to go all the way there then. Is that good? Yeah, okay, that's good. And then I'm gonna turn on into the yard. I'm gonna start a new wire over here. Where is it? Oh, no. It needs to be an I type. From there to there. And into here. It's a little bit stretched because it's more than 35 meters from compared to what it's supposed to be, so that's it's working good. Fuck it. I'm limited to some assets. Let's read the chat. Right, I was wondering how you will avoid plopping without hills. We need to hide things with trees, buildings, and curves, I suppose. Yep. But then too much of that would take away from the feel of it being flat and open. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting challenge, exactly. um, I am brainstorming some ideas on how to tackle this, how to handle that, the sudden change of it all as well. It's gonna work out eventually. When it comes to the terrain itself, the change from hills to plains is gradual enough as well that it works quite nicely. So if you look at this, obviously, you have quite a hilly terrain over here, right? But as you slowly go across, it's slowly fading away. You can see it's not really that hilly anymore. Maybe you can notice some small here and there. But then, you make the turn and you don't even really notice that the hills suddenly, end. It's gotten quite mild quite quickly, but gradually enough that it's going to work visually. Right, and from this side as well, it's gonna be quite nice and easy. Vast majority of the popping in and stuff can be broken by with trees because they take up a lot of the screen and they have greater loading distance or drawing distance than scenery objects and other stuff essentially. So that can be used to break sidelines better. This is the overhang catenary I was talking about using, but I'll keep it the way it is for now. And I'm gonna do the other thing I wanted to do, and that's slowly um, make like the transition into the ditches and stuff. Right, so this is what at 0 essentially. I don't know how deep those ditches are, but let's do like -3. And it's just gonna be running along the track here. Let's see what the game does about that. How does it look visually? It's not exactly a ditch, that's just like a massive fucking hole right now. But it actually looks relatively good in here, not gonna lie. There we go, that can work. There's a little bit of the battle with the textures and the terrain alike. Trying to make it look good. It's always a struggle when you just have sudden drop in the terrain height. I think if I just make the entire this ditch that I put in, if I make it the shallower, can have an easier time with this entire ordeal. Yeah. Yeah, that looks better. I'm just gonna raise that. Be -1 instead. Yeah, okay, that works. Pretty okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. That dish does look good. When I try that sort of thing, it looks crap. It comes down to what ashes you're using to make the details as well. It's not the greatest ditch, absolutely not. But for what I needed, it works, you know. So. And here you will get the actual extent of the ditch. You know, place down the water and you will actually see how well your ditch works as a ditch. Right? As you can see, this one doesn't exactly work that well outside of this place here. Just some water in all that grass and whatnot. The color makes it look weird, but it's something I'm gonna fix later on anyways. What I could do though is try something. Just limit the ditch in size, right? Use the splines to make it smaller, I guess, in a way. Expand it so that it's poking out from the sides a bit more. And that will also allow me to make something nicer with the with that water and the grass alongside it. Why did the game crash? 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 What the fuck? What a fucking unstable piece of shit program this game. Swear to God. Well, that's fucked. That's fucked. That's actually fucked. Mm. Would it be marked as a new route? No, it wouldn't. Let's use the changes. Because I did not save. Mm. It's lost, most likely, isn't it? It's fucking... Yeah, it's all fucking lost. Or? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. That's just an update. Got all of this in here. This is the... Okay, I did not lose that much. Good. Jesus fucking Christ, this game, man. Fuck. Getting a heart attack because of trains, huh? Deleting your stuff. It's definitely ought to get on your nerves and scare the fuck out of you. But why the fuck did it crash? No idea. Stay calm, don't panic, think of God and kids. No thanks. I'd rather think of ice cream. this just a long fucking grass plant? Where does it go? How does it go? It goes like that there. Okay. Anyway, Siegel, I'm gonna send you the CDP now. Oh, okay, wonderful, nice. What for? I mean, I still wanna finish Germany, like actual, before delving into Renaissance Germany, if that's what you're thinking about. Unless you know that in the next few months you will not have the time to build, or not have the motivation, or maybe want to focus on something else. Will contain some. Okay. I guess. I'm not gonna do the merge anytime soon though, because, well, still wanna finish Germany, as I said. No, by the way, Northern Germany before Sweden to Denmark. Yep. That is the area of interest today. That works. Yeah, that's okay for now. Regarding some, I would like to send to you because I want to focus on content creation, you do basically these assets, and have somebody to actually do stuff on PL side. Alright, fair enough. But yeah, I'm still gonna be focused on Germany. I'm not gonna merge it yet, just in case that you will feel like, building more or something. I'm gonna merge it only when I manage to finish Germany. Having in mind that I need to remake stuff and remake map makes everything slower. Yeah, kinda overwhelms me, plus cool stuff. That's understandable. Also, anything you would like to add to what I wrote in CEM channel? I was thinking, like, writing down some more in the morning when I woke up and read that. I guess, hold on. I'll go through it now again. This is the Q75. Why? How's that one different? No, I don't think that one would be fitting for the location. It's weird with the vegetation. I don't know. I guess I could occasionally, but okay. No, though this one might be good to start introducing here in the north. I'm not really sure about this bush. Feels very out of place here. This all of them is fine. Yeah, I mean, sure, but you know, it feels very out of place here compared to the other trees. Like this one feels more than what you would find in like pine forests. Like this feels more color-wise to be for the pine forests, right? It's darker. It's rather low. That feels more like what you would have in some pine forest or near that kind of biome. But for the Sidious trees, this other one works better. It matches the color better as well. This one feels very dark. Though it is on par with your bushes, the CL ones that you've made. I'm not sure. I'll see if I manage to somehow incorporate them. Ah, ouch. Okay. It's not the one I clicked, but okay. Give me this. Oh, it's not open again. There you go. Side ditch there. Yeah, I could. Hold on. Let's do it like this. Let's open up an actual map. Um, there wouldn't be really other ditches. I mean, there are some, but they're not like they don't seem to be intertwined with the fields and stuff. But there is like smaller streams that are just zigzagging and wiggling their way through there, through such an existence here. I have an idea. I'm gonna replicate one of the things that I just saw here. Where do I have such a road though? I guess I could use this. Screw it. In the Netherlands, you would have an entire grid of ditches, but maybe it's different. Yeah, it's definitely different. It's historically it's all the same Frisian, I guess. Yeah, no, here it's completely different. Like looking at the area that I'm trying to replicate, there's no side ditches at all. Like Okay, they are here and there, but like very short, very tiny ones. But if anything that I've been noticing is that there are a lot of small rivers going around. Oh, what's this? Oh no, that's just a small river that's been turned into a little canal. Okay, never mind. Just looking around. I mean, there are some ditches here and there, especially here I found some, but this looks like some kind of animal grazing field. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking at on the maps. I think it might be sheep. But their field is like entirely surrounded by ditches and waterways. That's interesting because there's obviously water and ditches here, quite a system of them. But I look around, there's nothing else like that around here. So why would they have that here? I guess it's because it's closer to the village, but that doesn't make sense because there's other villages here that don't have that. It's always trying to find and understand what you're looking at on the maps and on the satellite imagery. It's like, why, when, how, all this stuff. But one thing that's pretty consistent throughout this entire region is just very small, narrow rivers making their way, wiggling their way through the area. How could I theoretically do that here, though? Could do it just on this side of the tracks. That's possible. For starts, I guess. Because something akin to this is what I'm seeing across that region. Just small rivers zigzagging and navigating their way, heading north. Little streams, little rivers. Occasionally another one merges in as well. Let's do that. More specifically, I've been looking at the area around Rena in Germany, in northern Germany. And that's kind of the area I'm taking inspiration from. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. A nice definitely looks much more interesting than straight ditches. More Australian area, yeah. Some of a swampy white. Yeah, exactly. I'm not exactly sure how much of this stuff is farmlands. Um, this imagery that I'm looking at seems to be from autumn or sometime like in winter without any snow. But I'm thinking more like late autumn, early winter is the imagery that I'm looking at regarding northern Germany. Although, if I move slightly here, okay. So I was looking literally like on the imagery that I'm looking at. The split basically goes right down through the area I've been looking at, and one half of it is like early winter or late autumn, and the other half is summer or spring, most likely summer. It's definitely interesting to see how the fields here are just completely different. There's a lot more grassland as well, and generally the fields seem to be growing more green stuff as opposed to anything else. There are some lakes here and there, but I don't see any way that they are feeded or any way for the water to go out. So they might be seasonal lakes. I don't know. It's possible. But there is a lot of interesting stuff regarding the fields here. I don't know whether it's because of the war or what, but every single field here is just riddled with little circles just avoiding stuff. Sometimes there's water here, other times it's only bushes and some trees. I have no idea how or why, but the pattern definitely looks like, something that would be caused by bombs or stuff. But then again, why would they be bombing the middle of nowhere? But it's definitely interesting pattern that I'm gonna see if I can replicate, and I think it could help break up the monotone emptiness of the air of the area in the game. There's a lot of grasslands, but there's still a lot more fields than grasslands, so that's something to keep in mind. But everything is just perfectly flat. As it seems to be. I mean, there's definitely probably some small height variation, but not really gonna go down that path thing, because that's not gonna end up perfect. So there's that. Yeah, thank you, Zepek, I guess. But this literally will not work for the area that I'm trying to replicate here. Because what I am looking for is... Oh, okay, hold on. Let me find some good pictures to show not just you but also on the stream of what I'm trying to do. But hold on, I need to see where a track is. I need to find the name of a town and then maybe take a screenshot. Find a picture, sorry, of the kind of area. I'm like trying to be outside of Lubeck kind of thing. Oh, this could work, I think. Hold on, what is this? Go to satellite view. Grieben. Oh, actually, hold on, what's this? Menzendorf. Let's see if that is... No, that's not the area. This is still a little bit more southern than what I want it to be. Because Brent sent me some pictures some time ago. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find them. Hold on. I might, but I'm not giving it big hopes. Uh... No, I'm not gonna be able to find his pictures, but he got a really good one that was was basically just basing the entire stuff off of. But I wanna find a similar one. Oh, okay. I think I may have found something similar. At least it looks like it's the same operator. Give me the name of your operator. Come on, show. Where the fuck is it? Bleh. No, that's Berlin, and I don't want the Berlin, and you can't really see what it is. Ugh, need a better picture. Hold on. Ostzeeland. Well, that seems to be an ad, but hey, Ostzeeland Bahn. Nope, that is it. That's a winter picture. I don't want a winter picture. I want out in the open summertime, because that will show it the best. I'm just trying to find a fucking picture, man. I can't. um. Oh no, that's some other place in Germany. That's not fitting. Actually, it could be Nordbahn. Uh. Oh yeah, between Kiel and Flensburg. That's not a bad call. Hold on. Make it feel. Might there be boulders half hidden in the ground that they go around? It's possible. The thing is, it's all just like overgrown, so I don't know. Some stuff, some of them are filled with water that the fields go around. So I'm guessing it's some kind of a crater or maybe a sinkhole, right? One or the other. What? What the fuck? What did I just find? Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Okay, so I'm trying to find a picture of the area that I'm working on. The stuff that that I'm trying to capture. I find this combined road and track bridge. I'm like, where the fuck is this? It's in Riesaby. Where is Riesaby? It's in the area. That's Denmark. That's Germany. This is Kiel. There's fucking Riesaby, or whatever you pronounce it. And here's the combined bridge. That's in the area. That's God damn it. So yeah, fun. But generally I'm basing the terrain from like this around area. I've been looking mostly around Drena on here, right? This is a railway map that I have, so nothing spectacular. But like, you get the idea. It's like flat emptiness. Can't find what I wanna find. This might work. Griebenmeckel. Yeah. Yeah. This is more of it. Yeah, look at that. Flat, some fields, maybe a ditch next to the track, some forest, not that much, right? Just vast openness. There is more forest than you would think. So, you could... I can make it break the sight lines better. But yeah. You get the idea. There is some slight terrain variation, obviously. Because nothing is like perfectly flat. Except for the Netherlands, but... you get the idea. I'm not gonna be able to find a picture that Brent has sent me. But yeah. Flat terrain, more of a rundown. Actually, hold on. If I go to regular map from Google, you reckon I could theoretically find some pictures? That, so annoying. Nah, it's just a waste of time. I'm not gonna be bothering finding more. Bulletin rocks can be added with clutter. I made such thing of some already. Yep. You'll have the bridge in some then. Feels like Missouri. Man, if you just took style of screenshot that I made, it would be 1-to-1. I mean, I can, but at the same time, I kind of just want to make my own stuff as well. I don't want to fall in the loop of replicating other people's stuff. Because I know that's just not gonna work out. I'm sure I can clone a style, but it's I prefer to just find something on my own and figure it out on my own. Because then I'll just have trouble actually building it. But yeah. Anyways. I'll do that like that. Like that. There we go. Nice and simple. And now I just need to do the fields in here. The fields are not exactly big. And I need to get them to be smaller anyways. But once again, gradual transition is where it's all at. You want to achieve greater sense of flatness, make this big for a smaller. I mean, it depends. This here is still relatively hilly, and I need it to be big to make the break from the city. But don't worry, I'll get it. This already looks quite nice. Plus, if I, introduce some of the small terrain variation, obviously higher places here and there, then it's gonna look slightly better as well. Yeah, like that. Now you can tell there's a little bit of a terrain thing in here. Do it a bit more. It's even better. The important thing here is to just like break up enough of the sight lines that you don't have pop-ins from the other locations as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. But trees often between fields if you want trees. Anyways, add small groups of them instead of them being spread out. You say that, but that's definitely not how things are here in northern Germany. Does it have street? Oh my god, this has street view. Is that a line divide? Yeah, that's a fifth. I'm gonna show you one example. Yep. That here is just a tree line dividing fields. Right? This is just all clustered up. It's just fully overgrown. If anything, I should be adding more trees. We were looking at this. Right? There's another one there. This here seems to be a little more spread out with just major bushes. There's a tree there, tree here. But then you have a massive line of trees all the way through here and up and above up to here. They're spread out again. And then just a massive line of trees all over here again. So if anything, I should be mixing it up slightly more. Instead of just like doing the kind of variety that I am. Like how does this look? Because I mean I am spreading them out slightly, but I'm clustering them up somewhere as well. And then along the tracks I have them spread out, but really what I should be doing is something like this. See, will you look at that? That's a good example of what I'm actually trying to do. Well, somewhat of a good example, I guess. So if anything, I need to be reducing the trees in some locations and placing a lot more of them down in the others, instead of trying to keep it relatively even and equally spaced. If you look at this, there's like no trees here on this side for a while, and there's just a massive amount of trees here. If you go down the road, it's just a tree tunnel, okay. At the same time, I'm working with the limitation of trains. I'm gonna get a better look of like up that track. But I mean, you can clearly see, quite a lot of trees, little gaps here, and then again quite a lot of trees again. And there's a forest there as well, so. But generally, if you look at it, it's just completely lined with trees. We are in Lubeck. Let's go out. This is... Oh yeah, that's where I was. Let's go to a different location. Let's go... Let's go take a look at Risby. Over here. Do you have... The tracks are here. You can see, you know, there's like absolutely no trees here. Fields up all the way here. And then the trees start up. And then massive forest, of course. And then nothing again. Meanwhile, the road is completely cluttered with trees. Then nothing. This one, it's got some trees and then just a massive clutter of trees. And then massive nothing. And then some evenly spaced, obviously planted trees. And same here, look at that. It's just a massive line of trees. Oh, this is more akin, this looks more natural. So big nothing, few trees, then a clutter of trees, then less, another small clutter, nothing, and then clutter again. This is probably what you were talking about that I should be doing. Can I get a street view on that? You get the idea. Gap, some more trees, then gap again. Everywhere is just bushes as well. But this is just all lined up with trees. It's a weird mixed bag, honestly. Because some locations they have a lot more trees, some have a lot less. When you look at the satellite view, you can see, you know, obvious gaps in them. When you are down on the ground, you don't really notice the gaps. It's slightly annoying, but realistically what I should be doing is something more akin to this, I guess. And then to complement the other view that we saw, it's just a line of trees on here, on the field division, right? Comes down to, like, you know, what feels right, what feels wrong. Not to mention that shadows can give you false perspective as well, thinking like, oh, there's a lot more trees than there really is, you know. And the same for bushes and their height. I'll have to play around with mixing it in a way that, obviously here, when you're next to the tracks, there's gonna be less of the trees, so you can get a look at the landscape. And then further back, there's just gonna be a wall of trees to break the view a little bit and to make the transitions between, you know, far and distant scenery a bit better. I guess that will be of how I need to do it. Say if I place a lot of trees down here. Right, and then just a lot of trees over here as well. Like that. Can give you some kind of perspective change. What I would really like is, you know, to break away, you know, from you not being able to see far away. So it will do something like that. Hold on, there's a gap here. Need to close that, right? At some point, it just becomes starting looking kind of ridiculous. So yeah, obviously some needs to be more cluttered, some needs to be more spread out, but it's such a weird mixed bag when it comes to the vegetation around this kind of stuff. It's not just like, oh, it's like this kind of style everywhere. It's always mixed, and that's because, well, it's vegetation. You can't really control where it grows. I mean, sure you can control where it grows, but you don't really when it comes to this stuff. So if anything, this looks more in a way it's supposed to. And I've pretty much just added trees. It seems to me. For the sake of variation, I agree with Zephyr. Having a mix of tree lines in one spot and in another spot have gaps within. There some trees together would make things more varied. Yes. Since you've got small area, you need to watch out so as not to overkill with trees. Also, I would limit the height of trees near tracks to 20 meters. You say that. But how the fuck am I supposed to limit that to, just that? To 20 meters. We have a very small amount of trees that are actually seasonal that we know are, good on performance. We can't exactly be picky now, can we? Plus, we only have like 3 trees that are 20 meters. And that's the book one, this one, and this dub, and then this one, right? Those are all listed as 20 meters. I'm already doing an overkill with these ones. And then obviously we have this for 13 meters and this for 10 meters, right? So what? That's like 5 trees, one of which is very distinct. So repeating that constantly is not gonna look good. This is very obviously small. This one could work. So realistically speaking, if I were to limit myself to 20 meters, I only have 3 trees to work with. Which is not exactly working out, I guess. Anyways, that's a lot. It'll be fine. This doesn't feel like, this tree. I have massive problems with this one. Like, visually, it just doesn't feel like, in my eyes, to be something that you would. I mean, there's no birches here in northern Germany at all, from what I could notice from the few times that I've been on the street cam. So that already falls apart, right? And I have these next, but like, it's already a fucking ton anyways. It doesn't honestly really matter, it's going to look good anyways. The thing with all of this is still the fuckery. Because, like, it's still a limited pool of trees. One way or another, it's gonna look repetitive, whether you want it or not. Especially when the entire route is just, forest or fields, right? Yeah, sure, I can move them down to be lower, but who wants to fuck around with that when you have 100,000 trees to move around like that? It's not really a feasible option either. It's just gonna take you an unimaginable amount of time to lower them all randomly or precisely or whatever, It's annoying enough that you have to do it for bushes because they are the most obvious when they are floating above the ground. Right? And then you take into account the trees as well, you know. And it's not really gonna work out with the models anyways. See, if they were the ones that are changing their size, depending on where they are, that could work much, much better. But they are constant height. Because if you lower this, you can lower it only so much before it starts to look weird. You know, 1 meter could do, 2 meters looks very low for this one. If you go 3 meters, it's absolutely no, right? So now if you want to do it quickly, you're just gonna be lowering everything by 1 meter, right? Or you can just hold control and maybe try and randomize it, but I guarantee you most of the time you're gonna end up with something like, you know, 30 or 40 centimeters down in the ground. It also comes down to how much patience you actually have with trying to fuck around with trees, which I don't have a lot of patience with, to be honest. There's a lot of factors and variables in it all. Not to mention the grasslands here is gonna be quite an annoying thing to take care of as well. So there's gonna be a lot of turf effects, but at the same time, like a lot of spline grass. Do we still want spline grass? I mean, hey, it looks good in certain aspects, right? Entropy says no, but everyone who's ever visually worked with anything here will say absolutely fuck yes, keep spline grass. So, you know, it's a fucking dilemma. Like, this looks good. And turf effects might not look that good. And clutter, God knows when we are gonna get clutter 2. That is supposedly better. And the current way clutter grass is done is absolutely disgusting and doesn't work at all. So it's really not an option. So yeah. There's just a lot of stuff that you have to account for and disregard this and take into account that, and yeah. Just generally speaking, even with the trees, like what Zefek said, you know, to spread them out. Wait, hold on, what did he say? Uh, don't put trees that often between fields. If you want trees anyways, add small groups of them instead of them being spread out. And then I open up the street view, and the first thing I see is just a massive line of constant trees between fields. Right? So even then, you know, that doesn't work. You know, I mean, sure, obviously there are the ones that's like smaller groups of trees here and there, and then a bigger nothing, right? We saw that as well. Not saying that we didn't, we did, right? But I just found it funny because I distinctly remember one of the first things seeing from northern Germany is just a constant barrage of line of trees between fields. You know? That's what also got me. Not to mention the roads, like you saw that as well. More often than not, they're just completely lined with trees on one or both sides, right? It's like there's almost like no middle ground. But yeah, that's the fun of making stuff. and trying to be realistic, I guess. I mean, it's one of the it's the stuff that you normally wouldn't think about, and I don't really think about it either. Nor it's something that I really care about. So there's that. But yeah, there's so much stuff you have to think about when you're making something that you know normally you just wouldn't think about at all. You have to account for that, and yeah. Yeah, I went for doing the groups again, but I need to make it more of a constant barrage of trees, because that's what the roads like in this area are. So really, it's just a mixed bag of everything, and there's no one advice that works for the entire thing, because it just doesn't, because that's not how it is. So yeah, that's all of that. Anyways, I'm going overtime at this point, so I'm gonna end it here. I like what I've done and what we've been able to also see and talk about as well. But yeah, there's a lot more that needs to be done and stuff and whatnot. I guess it boils down to what extent you want to replicate the reality or take inspiration from it, but make it your own aside from Trainz limits and possibilities, of course. Yes, and at the same time, you also have to, yeah, you have to take the limits of the game into account as well. Like, for example, we have the drawing distance limited to 3,000, which doesn't exactly give you a lot of wide margin to work with when it comes to scenery, and you have to count for that as well. And so breaking the line of sight in a particular kind of way is very important. And I like to do that with the trees because it's something that is easily done. It's something that makes sense, right? Because you'll have forest here, a forest there. Because if you were to only replicate, what you see in real, it wouldn't exactly work out in quite a lot of instances. It's also, have to keep in the fact that the entire route is fictional, right? Century Europe Mini. Sure, it's realistic, but to an extent only. Because there's only so much realism you can do before you go against the rules that you've set up for your route to follow. And it doesn't really help either that Zefek, um, what he does, he just wants to best himself continuously, right? It's also why he's reworking some of the stuff and constantly as well, because he's gotten better. He wants to improve on it and take care of everything, but when it comes to a big project like this, right? At some point, because you just keep getting better and better, and you're still not finishing the project, and you're gonna have to go back and rework the already built stuff that you've done because you've gotten better at it, right? Until when do you want to continue the cycle of getting better and reworking the already built stuff? Because you have to make that cut somewhere. You have to make the limit somewhere. How much work and detail, what level of skill do you want to cap it on, right? Because some things are already as, good as they are now, right? There's no need to go back and make them even better. Improving our jobs is continuous, but projects need to be finite. Yep, exactly. And sure, like Central Europe Mini is a long form project, but we have a lot to do on it anyways, right? So, continuously improving on it is not really something that's viable, right? Have to make the cap somewhere. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Have a wonderful day, morning, evening, night, afternoon, whatever, whenever, wherever you are. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.